Okay. I put this thing on my, mine was all cracked, you know, the little thing you put over. And I don't know, this one, it's having a problem feeling my fingers. I don't know if I need to change something in the phone settings. I don't know. Anyways, one of the things too, because I was thinking about this morning, and I was thinking about like, what does it do in your own mind? Like if I say, I don't wear underwear. I don't like underwear. I don't wear underwear. I brush my teeth once a day. I smoke weed. I have a ton of tattoos. Just any of the things that we feel, we have these rules in our head. And so then you hear these certain things that it's like a standard or something we're all supposed to live by. And when you hear them, then it's like right away our mind just wants to judge. Like, what? Weirdo? You know, what's wrong with you? You don't wear underwear. What's wrong with you? You got to brush your teeth twice a day, maybe after every meal. What's wrong with you? Why do you smoke weed? And all of this stuff. That is all of the programming that is in our heads. We shouldn't have feelings about any of that. None of it. We shouldn't give a shit. Who gives a shit? And that is part of the deprogramming of your mind. So when you just kind of go into different things, just different judgments that you had, start questioning, why? Why do I think that? Why do I feel that way? And you'll start seeing, like, who writes these rules? And why am I trying to live by someone else's rules? Why do I, you know, who am I going to please? Who the fuck knows if I wear underwear? You know, why would it matter? And you know, there's so much stuff about the weed thing. I mean, that is like corrupt. To take an herb and then turn it into a crime and put people in jail about it, especially an herb that helps people who are super sick, helps people with eating disorders, it helps people with pain, it helps people with anxiety, it helps people, I mean, there's people who can help with their seizures, like all of this stuff that is here. Mushrooms also helps people with seizures. It's about to go, and of course it's got to go through the FDA to become, you know, they've got to somehow get their hands on it, the government, on every fucking thing. But they're going to turn that into medicine that, you know, oh, you can buy it now. It's okay. We've studied it. We see there's good stuff about it. It is put there. God put, or, you know, you say God. My daughter was all over me all about this. Mom, you say God. That if you say God, it is like you are talking about God as a religion. And I'm not talking about that. I'm not saying God is a religion. I'm talking about God as a universe, God as the idea of this energetic force that's out there that is beyond our abilities or whatever. But I see God as all of us is God. You know, like if you really want to talk about God, that's how I see it. God is we are fractals of God. To have God want to experience itself, to see what life was about and fractaled out and made souls, and that's why we are here. And then these times of increasing your consciousness as a spirit, and to realize you have more control and stuff over your destiny, over your life. And anyways, but part of that deprogramming your mind is to start questioning, like, why do I think the things I think? Why do I believe the things I believe? And that's what I talk about when you start tearing down those paradigms and start like these structures that they've put us, jailed ourselves into, which we were willing participants, you know, like, you know, well, okay, we'll do what you say. And so we've had our minds jailed in by these rules that someone else is making up for us. I think I talk about this, you know, in the earlier videos I've done, I've talked about it a lot, but, you know, that is what it is. But I was thinking about, you know, ways for people to start seeing things just on stupid stuff, you know, like anything that you feel judgment towards that you hear. Yeah, don't think like that person's wrong, they should follow the rules. You got to be thinking like, why am I judging them? And who set the rules? And why are any of us trying to follow someone else's rules? We should be setting our own rules. We should be strong enough to set our own rules. And that was one of the things early in my awakening that just freaked me out. When I called my brother and I told him that, and I know I've said this before, I've said it a ton of times, but it just freaked me out. All of a sudden I just realized, do you know there are people that don't murder other people just because the Bible tells them not to? That blows my mind. And like, I don't need to have laws. I don't need to have rules. I have an internal guidance that tells me, like, I wouldn't kill somebody because I know that would be horrible. I would have pain and suffering from it. It's not like you can't kill somebody. It's just like, oh, okay, it's clean slate now. That's not how it works. Like, I already know that shit. You know, and I would say it's from past life. It's from past experiences, from going through it. That's why I know it. I don't have to. I don't need a rule book to follow. And I think there's a lot of us who are here. We don't need a rule book, but it's trippy when you start really realizing, yeah, I'm living amongst people who are not murdering because a book tells them not to murder. Like, where's their internal guidance? It's spooky, you know? Like, it's real spooky. And, but I would just say any of the stuff, anything, I mean, so much of our stuff is controlled. So anything you can look at and start just questioning, and it's going to help you to break free of the mind control and to reprogram your mind the way you want to set it, because they've programmed it the way they want to structure us in their society. And their society is all about control and enslavement, and to keep us in poverty and struggling and suffering. And, you know, they want to be over us. They want to be the kings of the world and controlling us. And it's super exciting times because we're breaking free of a system that's been here for a long time. And there was some other stuff, too, I wanted to say about the rule stuff. But anyways, that's probably enough. But anyways, just, oh, there was something with that show, Evil. I've been watching that. It's got so much good stuff. I would totally, if you're into supernatural stuff, I would say totally watch it. But it definitely, you have to, as you're watching some of the stuff, like where they're showing like a demon or something, you have to think about it as an energetic source. Like they're putting it into a three-dimensional character, just like they're creating an avatar. That's kind of what they do in this world, is like creating these avatar kind of things that, I mean, they create these idols and stuff, you know, they create the whole thing. But in this show, oh, and another thing about this show too, that trips me out. And, so when I talk about, like, you have communication all the time, and you have, you know, you need to work on your ability to translate your communication and figure out how to communicate with your guides or whatever. So when the oh, I hate when I do that. It was something about with the communication with the when they are showing the three-dimensional demon guy who is sitting there just talking to the kid, it really, if you look at it as not like this three-dimensional character sitting there, just as this guy who's depressed, who's listening to the stuff coming in his head, and he thinks it's coming from in his head, but it's really coming from this other source that's manipulating him, which is an energetic communication that's outside of you, that is talking to you. And what I find interesting too is, and so on this show, I see that it's two people with the same last name are the creators. I don't know if they're the writers or what, you know, that actually means, if they created it, if they did the whole thing, because there's a lot more people involved to get a show on a channel. And so there's, and I've talked about this a bunch of times, because like Tesla, there's other people who have talked about it, Edgar Casey, like they were aware of the communication. But when there is books like that, or stories like that, that have so much true information about how things really are, then it makes me think like, so are they picking up on this communication that's coming down, and they're translating it so they understand things in a three-dimensional, so they're going to put it in as a demon talking to them or whatever? Or are they getting the information and they're seeing it accurately, and then they're being, you know, the CIA runs the information that comes on your TV. So they have to go through certain people to get a show on, and those people can say, well, we want more of this, we want more of that, we want a lot more boobs, we want a lot of young people, we want to, you know, they decide all that stuff. And so then when they twist it, put those little twists, so are the controllers, you know, that are controlling the programming, are they the ones who are doing those little twists? Or is it just a misinterpretation? I don't know. But I just know that when they have a guy sitting on a couch who is a demon, who's telling the person, yeah, you could have an energetic source, and you could see him. If your manifestation is you see this as a demon, but it's also in the other realms, but it's still there. It's still talking to you. It's still filling your head. So that's why I talk about, like, if you're one of those depressed people who's just down in the sludge all the time, just like, everything goes wrong. You've got too much negative energy on you. And when that energy, if you are kind of like, if you're in that place, you're kind of, your mind's kind of in a weak place, your spirit or whatever, you're kind of a little defeated. And so you can be bombarded by other energies, where people would think of as, if you want to think of it in like a three-dimensional way of, what is that called, when the exorcist person has to come and get the spirits out of you? And spirits can they can attach to you. They're controlling your mind. They're controlling your thoughts. They're bombarding you with thought forms and stuff. And that's what's happening to this guy on the show, more than one. But it keeps showing these demon being able to do this to people. They really are doing it, but they're just doing it silently behind you, where you don't know that they're there. It's not like how this guy goes and sits and talks to him is being manipulated. No, you're being manipulated because you don't know that it's there, and it's talking to you, and it's telling you stuff, and it's directing you. If you are down in that negative energy, you're being directed to do shitty things. And in the show, it shows him like he's prepping him to go out and do mass murder. And that's what happens all the time here with the MK Ultra people and stuff. They've been interviewed and stuff, and they say, yeah, there's voices. They were telling me what to do and stuff. Oh, let's go, they're crazy. No, it's because there's voices telling you what to do, and you need to differentiate. And our government has gotten to the technology that they can put their voices in our head. They are doing that stuff now. It's not just that we have spirits doing it. We also have our government doing it to us. And so, you know, there's people that are doing things that, you know, people just don't even know themselves. Seriously, they just don't know themselves. Until you can really start understanding all of the communication going on in your head and differentiate between ego, memory, thought, whatever, however you want to classify what goes on in here. But you got to start getting in your head. There's stuff coming from outside of you that is, you know, if you're high vibration, it's normally going to be for your best, but you can be energetically attacked too. Like, there's a lot of people who are really focused on the positive, and right now they're being energetically attacked, just like in the real world, what's going on. It's also going on in the spiritual world, because they want to beat down some of the people and give you doubt and stuff like that. because they don't want this energy, this messages to get out there. Just like when I very first started, I said, I don't know if anybody will ever see this, but I know that it's important to get this energy in the airwaves because it will pick up its own thing. Because energy is everything. That is what we are. That is everything. And, you know, and I mean, it's just, I mean, we're pretty fucking fascinating creatures when we can do this. We can create all this. And sometimes I feel like it feels a lot safer when you are able to have some kind of boundaries, like hear, feel, see, and all that, you know. But it's not our natural state. It's a state of being for experience. So, and sometimes I do, like, sometimes I've told you, I like, can do a stretch and start coming out of my body. I've fallen out of it before by accident, and it kind of spooks me. And I was telling my daughter yesterday, I kind of feel like there's a safety kind of when you are a soul to be inside of a body. You kind of feel like, I don't know, like it feels kind of spooky when I start to go out. And I think that's what kind of gets people tripped out, like in that feeling of death when you are transitioning into, you know, your real state of being. I think it does have that sensation of that falling. Maybe that's why we all get those falling dreams, is because that's the sensation of when we switch from body and go back into our real form. I don't know. It's weird. Anyways, I can talk about this stuff forever. By the time anybody ever starts talking to me, they'll find out. I can talk. And I don't even know if I ever complete a thought. Swear to God. I think I do on some. But anyways, I mean, the main thing is just work on you and do your best, you know, with your realizing why you do things. It's so funny too, because even though I feel like I'm very aware, you know, like I told you that one day when I was watching over there coming out and she was shutting her gate all day, and I was like laughing about it. I was like, oh my God, the universe really has a sense of humor. She told me it's never, you know, call me a liar, it's never open, you're crazy. And here she is going out, have to shut it. But then she didn't even, the next day, she told me that never happened. I was like, oh my God, spooky. And so I was talking about the awareness and how people are just so on autopilot. And I've talked about it before. It's the lower chakra thing. When you haven't moved up in the chakras, you're just reactive. You're working on pain. That's why the triggers and all that stuff. And but there was something the other day my daughter told me, and it was like it was something right in front of me and I didn't even see it. So it's all of us having to just sharpen that skill of our awareness, you know. And, you know, that's all you can do is, like she was talking about something, you know, I could do this, blah, blah, blah. But just remember, this is just goals. You know, don't be hard on yourself because you're not perfect. Don't be hard on yourself because you still get pissed off at people. I get pissed off at people. Don't judge emotions like that. Don't judge, you know, being pissed off. Feel it. You're a human. You have emotions. You're there to feel it. Figure out how to control it. Figure out like what you need to learn about it. Ask yourself, you know, train yourself to start asking yourself, and then listen for the message back. Listen for your answer. And, anyways, I just really believe that this is what, you know, if you're working on anything to improve yourself, you're doing great. And if you're working on anything to deprogram your mind, and just being out there exploring, just trying to see, like, what are people talking about? What's going on? Why does everything feel so crazy? Is it the end of the world? You know, any of that stuff, anything you're doing is doing something. So you are growing and you are, you know, becoming more of who you are. So just, you know, keep on track and have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.